People who wear a badge or a uniform are just Americans. We have to stop seeing them as others. These are Americans, and we're all Americans together.
We are indeed, and just piggybacking on your message to active police, I sure would like to see a whistleblower or two in the Newtown, Connecticut area come forward and blow the whistle on some of the corruption we've seen in this investigation into the Sandy Hook massacre. With Eric Holder going out there meeting privately with first responders, clearly what they're trying to do is keep everybody quiet and keep those first responders tied to the official story, which has nothing but holes in it. But bridging back to the point of this conversation, and the reason I wanted to have you on, David, is because you are a great example for every single person who's listening. So is Stuart Rhodes from Oath Keepers. So is, like him or hate him, Alex Jones. So is Breitbart's Ben Shapiro and Larry Pratt, Lou Rockwell, and Ron Paul. All are examples of the fact that we still have the First Amendment. We still have a freedom of speech. You have not been thrown into a prison. You have not been silenced. You're saying that you've not experienced any repercussions of your free speech, of speaking out on behalf of the Constitution, on behalf of the Bill of Rights, on behalf of America and liberty, and everybody can still do that. Now, if we fast forward 5 or 10 years from now, if everybody who's listening right now who does have the potential voice to get out there and spread the word so that we reach that tipping point, right, the tipping point back towards liberty, if those of you who are listening who haven't been vocal continue to not be vocal, let's step into the time machine 5, 10 years from now where all of these things, points 10 through 20 that David just took us through, are happening or have happened. Right now, in 2013, as you and I are having this conversation, we have a golden opportunity to take our country back. And I truly believe that we are very nearly hitting that tipping point. I think we might already be there, except for the bad guys control the mainstream media. So on a daily basis, it seems like we've not hit the tipping point because they control the flow of information. But if you go on the Internet, if you go on YouTube, if you go and actually look for alternative news, we're winning the battle for hearts and minds, David.
The emperor has no clothes, Sean. The emperor has no clothes, and they can't match that commitment. We have no leaders in Washington. Well, maybe Ron Paul, but we don't have, as you say, we don't have leaders that are willing to talk the way I talk, and that's. But there are lots of patriots that talk the way I talk. I just happened to do a couple of YouTube videos, and they got noticed.
There's billions of us, and there's precious few of them.
We are going into an era of the Internet, and now on the Internet, Ron Paul was right. I mean, I was listening to him talk to Alex Jones about for the first time technology can be used for peace, and where all the time in the past technology was used for tyranny. And I can hold in my hand on my smartphone the entirety of human knowledge, and I could never have done this without YouTube. I would never have waged a successful campaign without YouTube and Google and Facebook and Twitter. And so I'm just standing the system on its head.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I truly believe that we are on the cusp of a new enlightenment for humanity. I really believe that all of this is the birth pangs of getting there, right? Because they have kept us in the dark. They've lied to us for so long, going, way back past the Kennedy assassination, all the way back to 1913 and the Federal Reserve Act. And finally, all of that stuff is revealed. Anybody with a pulse and a brain knows the truth. They know about the lies. And, the genie's out of the bottle, as I've said so many times. And that's the most exciting part about all of this, is that once you know the truth, you can't unknow the truth.
And I don't think once these leaders become so decadent, like a Janet Napolitano that I talked about, they're so decadent, they don't have self-respect. And I think there's a part in them that does want to be held accountable, that wants it to be over, that they know they can't keep it up. We've been lied to so much that the Sandy Hook thing, all I did was that was how this all started for me, was that video. I just did a video, and the title of it, I just really caught on. And the title was, Did Obama Order Sandy Hook Shooting to Get Your Guns? That was the first of these 3 videos back on it was published on the 23rd of December. So, I was just on, the title worked, I think, because nobody else was willing to come out right after the tragedy and ask the question that way. The great thing that I've learned about political campaigns is that they provide a platform. And so my decision back in 2010 was that I was going to run as a constitutionalist and a 100% truther. And I was not, the consequences be damned. I'm going to say exactly what I believe and what is the truth, and let the votes follow or not follow. I don't care. And that's all these videos are. I understand. Wonket is the big DC liberal satirical, one of their sites. I mean, they did a massive hit piece on me yesterday. I mean, just detailed and really ripped at me. And I think that's wonderful. I think that's great because it really shows that the Civil War video is getting around. When first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win.
To me, it just demonstrates their fear, And then for anybody with a brain, when they read that, they're going to be like, well, now what's David VanDerBeek have to say about this? You're easy to find on YouTube. I'll go watch his video, And how many of the things that you say will resonate with people? Just like when Jesse Ventura was on the Piers Morgan show about a year ago, maybe less than a year ago. It was a half hour of pure Jesse, and Piers Morgan being the idiot that he is. And at the end of the program, in the last 5 minutes, Jesse said, well, you think I'm a kook. How many people in the audience think I'm a kook?
I saw that.
No one applauded. And then he said, how many people in the audience think that I raised good points? And everyone applauded. So again, the genie's out of the bottle, and truth can't be unlearned. And this establishment that I've talked about for so long, you're talking about now, they're on their last legs. They're in the death throes. They have to be. Look at the monetary situation.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's right. And so that's another thing. The timing piece was so important to me that I honestly would have left Obama alone, and I didn't ever want to focus on him. But he's such a symbol of what we're about to face, and he has become the face of tyranny. I think he's a setup man. I think he is too sniveling and weak. But I think he is a setup man for a much more severe, iron-fisted, Soviet-style dictator. But I don't think he could ever carry it out himself. Just my analysis as a therapist in observing him. I think he wants to have fun and party and be decadent, but I don't think he's got it in him. But he will establish the ground rules for somebody else to come in and do what they do in China.
Yeah. Well, I think it's what his handlers want. I mean, what you just described is what the power brokers want, the oligarchy, the people that are his handlers, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think they're going to get it because enough folks are awake like you and me. I mean, if you and I are awake, man, if you and I can connect, and this is all just happening within the past 3 years. I started my YouTube channel 3 years ago. You've got, several 100,000 views in a matter of weeks? I mean, come on. It's the best symbol of the awakening.
They're not interesting. Tyranny is boring, and freedom is interesting, and it engages people. And people say, hey, I don't want to sit and play video games. I want to be really free. I want real freedom. It's time to put aside the petty competition. This is really serious. It's time to set aside those things and the minor differences in the Patriot movement. The best metaphor that I can think of is being a father of 5 children. I've watched my wife bear our children. The first 3 she did without any painkiller whatsoever. And I can tell you that being, from what I've observed, being pregnant is not fun. And I think men, we don't experience that, but we are about to give rebirth to America. And it's not fun, but once it's done, it will be a joyous experience. The woman in travail is a symbol of what we're about to do, and men are responsible for carrying the burden of the rebirth of this nation. Not to slight the patriot women, but men need to stand up and be men.
That's very well said, David. And as a father to a brood of his own, the reason I'm doing this and have been doing this is on behalf of my children. Someday when I'm long gone, I hope that there is a record of what I've tried to do so that they know that, there were good men and women in this country who did stand up. If we fail, I want my kids to know that when hell is unleashed in this country and on the rest of the world permanently, I want them to know we tried. We tried to represent God. We tried to represent the natural law, with which we are all entitled and born with natural rights that no government can take away. That's what the founders said. That's the gift the founders gave us. They said that no government can give you your rights. No government has the right to take your rights away. Your rights are natural rights. You're born with those rights. And somehow this country with this government is moving further and further away from that. But I totally agree with you. I think that if real men in this country can find their backbones and stand up, we are now experiencing the birth pangs of liberty, a reemergence of liberty. It hurts. It's painful. But the alternative is hell on earth. The alternative is a pain and a sorrow that trumps anything you can possibly imagine right now. When you watch your loved ones perish under the hands of totalitarianism, there could be nothing more painful. You know, it was Solzhenitsyn who said, oh, how we burned in the camps, that we didn't take action when we had the chance. Folks, we have the chance right now. Make your voice heard, because this is the line in the sand. This Second Amendment issue for me, and David, I know for you, is the line in the sand.
Whatever happens to me is a symbol of what will happen to the American people. I can't stick my neck out for you for freedom any further than I have. So I'm fully committed to that. I'm okay. I've made peace with God, and I'm okay. So, but if you allow this to go forward, my fellow Americans, my friends, my family, you will, whatever happens to me will happen to you. So my safety isn't the concern. It's the symbol. It's the symbol of what we are, and you will get it. And I guarantee victory. Whenever the people rise up, the people win. Wherever in history, everywhere in history, wherever good people rise up, they win.
I don't know. There's powers in numbers. You know what I go back to all the time is the bovine growth hormone in the milk. You know, there's a tipping point reached where nobody wanted it anymore and enough people stopped buying it, where finally Monsanto lost that battle, and now you can't find that shit in any of the milk. It's no longer in the milk because we hit the tipping point, right? And that's what we need to hit with liberty. We need to hit the tipping point back towards liberty, right, where enough people are vocal enough, you know, that the government is forced to listen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they really don't. The Babylonian Empire was psychological. And so, I mean, that's what those, you know, they build the pyramids, they build the obelisks, you know, whether it's the Egyptians. I mean, these empires are psychological. And once people don't buy into the psychology of what they're doing, they collapse, because we can't. Freedom is real. Freedom is real, and you cannot force people beyond. I mean, freedom is a natural law. It's just impossible to maintain tyranny.
This is really an awful way to end the call, David, so forgive me, but I think for posterity's sake, I need to ask. We see good men and women sometimes perish in mysterious ways, be it a single car accident, a quote-unquote suicide, things of that nature. I just want to ask you a couple of questions. Are you suicidal, or would you ever consider committing suicide for any reason?
I love my life. I love my family. I will never, ever commit suicide. I'm in perfect health, okay? So I'm in perfect health. I don't take any medications for anything at all. I eat healthy, and I'm happy. I don't use any illegal drugs. I never have. I've never smoked. I've never drank. You would just want to be aware of that. Make sure that if anything were to happen to me, that you get a report of whatever's in my body, and you'll know. But I can guarantee you, I'm not going to die. I'm going to live, and if I do die, then it'll be very obvious that it was who did it and how it was done, and I'm okay with that, because it will only wake up the American people faster, because I'm committed, and that's what patriots do, because of our commitment. I am not unique. I am not unique, and if anything happens to me, greater leaders are coming, far better than me. And the American people deserve it. Exactly,
and the reason I had to ask you that question is because we keep seeing good men, you know, die young and die unexpectedly. You know, Breitbart with the mysterious massive heart attack, and then the coroner suddenly turns up dead as well. And you know, it's just one thing after another. And when you take the preponderance of the evidence with all of these mysterious deaths, including the manager of the very popular firearms channel that was recently shot in the back of the head down in Georgia, I believe. You know, you have to... There was another one, too. There was another one, too, yes, an executive for a firearms company. His name was John Noveske, and he's one of the most celebrated battle rifle manufacturers in America. This, according to Natural News. His rifles found at NoveskeRifleWorks.com are widely recognized as some of the finest pieces of American-made hardware ever created. And John Noveske was killed in a mysterious car crash just a few days ago on January 4th. his car crashed into two large boulders. The vehicle rolled and Mr. Noveski was ejected. Now, that could just be coincidence, or it could just be another example of a mysterious death that may be the result of a kill team in this country. And it's definitely cause for concern as we continue to see people like Breitbart and others die mysteriously. Well, David VanDerBeek, I can't thank you enough for your voice. We all certainly appreciate it. We appreciate what you're doing on behalf of the Constitution and on behalf of all of us in America who consider themselves law-abiding, constitutional-loving Americans. Why don't you tell people how they can support your run for governor in Nevada in 2014? Tell us about your websites, your YouTube channel, anything you'd like.
The YouTube channel is what I used. I spent $650 to get 49,000 votes last election, and the only thing I am doing right now is I'm just trying to put together a few dollars to get up an official website. And if you want to send a couple bucks to davidlorey@juno.com through PayPal, you can do that. We'll have a website up. We'll get one up, and you can support it that way. Then from the website, it'll provide different ways where you'll be able to contribute to the campaign. So that's kind of a work in process. But your prayers are more valuable to me, and your support as patriots. I didn't come here to get money and to become popular and win elections. I came here to find my family. I ignore everybody else. I'm looking for my constitutional family. So that's the priority. Just search my name, David Lory VanDerBeek, and you'll find the YouTube channel. You can link to me on Facebook or Twitter or whatever.
Okay, and any final words to folks who are listening about how they can become practically involved starting today? Is it join Gun Owners of America? Is it join the NRA? Is it, give some practical advice on how you would like to see people vocalize their appreciation and love for the Constitution?
I would say purchase a firearm, get your life right with your family and God, and be a good person. That's where you really the foremost thing is to be a decent human being, and then everything falls from there. And then you'll have the inspiration in your heart of what step to take next. Each one of us has a mission and a part to perform in the restoration of liberty. So you need to listen to your heart on that one. I can't tell you what your place is, but it is God-given, and you'll know what the next step is if you just exercise that faith and be a decent human being.
Well, David Lory VanDerBeek, the Constitutional Party candidate for 2014 for Nevada's governor, thanks so much for joining us. Guys, go ahead.
Actually, there is one thing I would like to say, if I may.
Sure.
One thing that I want to say is, as governor of Nevada, I want you to know that whatever gun restrictions Obama tries to force through, any further gun restriction whatsoever, will not have any effect in Nevada. I want people to know that I will fight for this state, and that will be the case here.
Yeah, and our trump card is states' rights. Our trump card is nullification, taking everything back, all our power back on a local level. And if the feds don't realize that soon, they will lose all of the power that they have left. We can't thank you enough for your time. Everybody, check out his YouTube channel. I will link to it in the more information section under this video. And, of course, you can visit sgtreport.com, where I will have a write-up about this conversation with David. And in that write-up will be a link to his YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's keep in touch.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that does it, my friends. Thanks so much for watching, sharing, liking, and spreading this information with others. Together, we will take our country back. Check out sgtreport.com for all the latest and alternative news, and check out thelibertymill.com, real news 24/7. Thanks for watching.